Hello and welcome back, YouTubers, to another episode of Pokemon Theories. I'm your host, Protomario, and this is the show where we discuss theories ranging from Red being a ghost to why the heck Jinx looks the way she does. Hello and welcome back, YouTubers, to another Pokemon Theory episode. Today's episode is brought to you by Barbie604 and Grillzilla Master. Shiny Pokemon, how are shinies made? This is a subject matter that is shrouded with complete and total mystery except for one small gleaming shred of evidence. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very hard for me to conclusively tell you how shinies are made. I am at a loss on truly how shinies are made, besides the game's mechanics and numbering system, and that's no fun. Seriously, think about it, guys. If I just gave you the explanation that in Generation 2, shinies are determined by the IVs of a Pokemon, you will walk away from the video not feeling happy. Because math is not fun in Pokemon for the most part. Unless you're talking about how much damage that shiny Gyarados can do with a Hyper Beam. Y'all know what I mean. But seriously, shiny Gyarados is actually the only supporting evidence I have for this theory, and I apologize that I couldn't find anything concrete. However, it is time for us to delve into the theory. Many people have seen and found shiny Pokemon. From the original episode of Pokemon where Ash actually does see a shiny Ho-Oh flying and grants him eternal happiness, to the Lake of Rage where a red Gyarados is, as well as Ash's knocked out later on, and of course the pink Butterfree, which I might note is not the shiny color scheme for Butterfree. Nevertheless, guys, shiny Pokemon are a mystery, all except for Generation 2. When the Game Boy Color was introduced, it was a big thing because you had color on your Game Boy games. So Game Freak took total advantage of this and colored all the Pokemon. But they weren't satisfied. They wanted more colors, so they gave every single Pokemon a different color scheme, an alternative, a strange, interesting color scheme that could be unlocked secretly by catching these very rare Pokemon. Your odds of catching a shiny Pokemon in Generation 2 is 1 in 8,192. And you have a chance of breeding them at 1 in 64. So, not the most common Pokemon there are, but nevertheless. There is, however, one 100% shiny Pokemon in Generation 2 that you will always discover. Why is this? Because when Team Rocket set up the radio signal to Pokemon to evolve, this created a shiny Pokemon. Gyarados. The red shiny Gyarados is the one Magikarp in the Lake of Rage that was forcefully evolved by the radio signal, which made him a shiny Pokemon. Now, while there's other explanations for certain shiny Pokemon, like, them eating the berries on the island and turning pink, that doesn't necessarily make them shiny, quote unquote. My theory is much, much more basic. Because the original Red, Blue, and Yellow games did not have shiny Pokemon, none whatsoever, it was not introduced until Generation 2. And going by the timeline, Generation 2 started it all. In fact, if Generation 2 actually coincides with Generation 3, that would mean that Generation 2 is one of the first games to actually occur, which created all the shinies. How did all the shinies get created in Generation 2? Well, it's simple. When Team Rocket took over the radio tower in Goldenrod, you didn't get there to rescue the people in the tower and stop signal fast. It wasn't exactly the most speediest of rescues, now was it? So for that entire time, they were broadcasting that signal and making Pokemon forcefully evolve with that signal, turning them shiny. Every Pokemon in that region was exposed to that signal. And sure, radio waves are very strong at their source and slowly dissipate as they go out. But the waves and the dissipation may be small, but it is still there. So every Pokemon in every other region from that point on was exposed to that radio wave. Some Pokemon were bred, and evolved into shiny Pokemon randomly because of that radio wave signal, and others did not because it was too weak. But nevertheless, it was still engrossed in their DNA and put into them. So whenever you see a shiny Pokemon, you really have to thank Team Rocket, because they're the ones who actually started everything. So when you think Team Rocket's evil for taking the Cubone skulls or cutting off the Slowpoke test, wait a second, man, they are pretty evil. Jesus Christ, what am I talking about? Anyways, guys, frickin' shiny Pokemon were made by Team Rocket. Like it or not, that's my only answer. If you get a shiny Pokemon before that radio event, maybe they came from the Lake of Rage where Team Rocket was, and that radio signal also carried over and dissipated. But again, that's my only theory, guys. So if you have a theory on this, or an interesting theory you'd like me to discuss, please leave it in the comment section below, and if I use your theory, I will give you a shout out before the Pokemon theory video. Thanks for watching, and of course, happy gaming, guys! I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. And now, time for a service announcement from the Maverick Army. Tired of the norm? Is it time for a revolution? Join the rebellion and become a Maverick today by subscribing to Protomario. Remember, together we can create a new world order of gaming. Mavericks unite.